decided to reduce the sentence of a police officer who was convicted of assaulting a black woman. He brutalized her. Wait until you see this video, as reported by Indisputable with Dr. Richey. Let's get into this story. Some things you just have to hear and see in order to believe.
Prosecutor reduces the sentence of a cop who assaulted a woman. We have the full story here. Here we go. Put it up for mass in an update. Bill Seal, a prosecutor appointed by Trump, has successfully reduced the sentence of Trevor Kirk. Who's Trevor? Trevor is a former LA sheriff's deputy who was convicted by a jury of his peers of felony use of excessive force against a black woman at a supermarket. Okay? Officer Kirk, or Deputy Kirk, who was facing a decade in prison, will instead now only serve 4 months. Now, this crime was heinous. Here's a reminder. In June 2023, Deputy Kirk and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Deputy Alejandro Jr. responded to the robbery call of a grocery store in Lancaster, north of LA, and came upon Damon Barnes, 56, who was carrying a cake he had purchased, and Houston, 58, who was sitting in a car. According to them, they matched the description of the reported robbers. Put up the picture full mass. The police video showed that Alejandro detained Barnes without incident. A prosecutor said that Kirk was unjustifiably violent. 2 cops, one is acting quite different than the other. But he was acting violent with Ms. Houston, who had gotten out of the car and was filming Barnes' arrest, telling the deputies they were on YouTube Live, reported by Legal Affairs and Trials.com, without giving her any commands at all. Deputy Kirk, the cop, grabbed Ms. Houston by her arm, hooked his hand behind her neck, threw her to the ground, the grand jury indictment stated. Then he threatened to punch her, place his knee into her back and neck, and pepper sprayed her in the face 2 times. Houston received medical treatment at a hospital after the assault, suffered a blunt head injury, contusions, abrasions, multiple parts of her body, chemical conjunctivitis, and other injuries. Houston sustained all of these while this cop brutally assaulted her on the ground in front of everybody. Houston and Barnes settled their lawsuit against Kirk, the other cop, and the sheriff's department, $3 million in March, defunding the police by way of the police. Taxpayers take note and are awaiting its approval from the LA County Board of Supervisors, according to Legal Affairs. However, when the prosecutor intervened, now this is the insanity. The prosecutor offered the deputy, who was fired by the county, a plea deal that would reduce his sentence. Now, before I continue, understand a plea deal typically for folk like you and I happens, is offered before you're convicted or before there's a sentence, right? Would you like a plea deal? Well, I don't know. What are you offering? Okay. So basically, you get to go through the entire judicial scenario. And if it doesn't work out for you, just come on back, buddy. We'll make a plea deal with you.
Let me interject this right here. This is why, and I'm talking to my people, this is why black people have no faith in the judicial system. And this is why black people do not trust the police. Because they're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. Police have been given total immunity, irregardless of whatever type of crimes they commit, by a Republican administration. So why the hell are we even going to file lawsuits and things when it's already going to be denied because the fix is already in? There are two judicial systems in this world, one for the rich and one for the not so rich. And if you think police brutality is acceptable, let me help you out a bit. Wait until it comes to your city, your town, your mother or your grandmother, your uncle, your aunt, or your son. Then you're going to find out just how real it really is.
Just acting on orders, okay, I'm going to get to that. So he would reduce the sentence from 10 years to 1 year. Several prosecutors in the LA office, they resigned in protest, while police watchdogs were left to wonder whether law enforcement would be held accountable in cases involving excessive force. Tom Yu, an attorney representing Kirk, said the defense plans to appeal Judge Stephen V. Wilson's earlier denial of their motion for an acquittal. Many observers believe that this prosecutor was simply acting on orders from President Donald Trump, even though the U.S. Attorney's Office is supposed to act totally independently of the executive branch. In March, speaking to a joint session of Congress, Trump vowed to give police officers nationwide the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve, end quote. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, end quote. Trump said, quote, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it, end quote. And I'm going to add this for you, Trump, except for the cops that work at the Capitol. Okay, except for those, because you had no love for them whatsoever. All right, so later in his speech, Trump also called on Congress to pass a new crime bill aimed at, quote, getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for American police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They already have immunity. Trump called qualified immunity. If they're doing things in good faith, even if they're wrong, they typically can't even be prosecuted or sued. That's not enough. You can give them a pardon. Make it preemptive, hell. Trump also recently signed a somewhat vague executive order, which he does routinely, vowed it would serve to unleash law enforcement. That's all it said. All right, Wozni. Once again, this is what happens when you hire a game show host to be president of the United States.
Yeah, just more Trump bluster. I think this is part of what he likes to brand himself as. Law and order, I love the cops, blah, blah, blah. This is him pretending to put his money where his mouth is. But again, I would say to conservatives, like, would you be cool with a liberal president, just stepping
Hell
in
no. No, they wouldn't.
and say, I don't know, Mississippi or Alabama or even Texas, some Republican stronghold, and just doing what they please, going against the local ruling. Nobody would think that was okay. Like, you got to have principles on both sides. It's not about contradictory or whatever. It's like, this doesn't make sense. You're not going to accept this when it's applied in the opposite direction. So, like, how can anybody be cool with this? But, this is par for the course for what Trump and them want to do.
Yep, that's right. And you are right. That energy tends to swing back, and individuals who were excited about the corruption are all of a sudden involved in a level of, well, let's just say unfair treatment themselves.
So why do I start things and never finish them. It's all due to something called law.
I'm going to end this segment by saying this. Let black police officers do the same exact thing to a white woman. There will be no reduced sentence for them. There will be no qualified immunity for them. There will be no respect for them. They'll go straight to prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Never surrender. Never quit. Let's go to the comment section. Bro, it's inverted. I can't understand the words. Okay. Let's see. What is this? Stigmas? I don't speak Donald Trump. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out.